It's episode 1289, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's the very healthy wellness guru, Jesse Carey.
Hello.
From Nashville, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
And in LA, from Social Club Misfits, it's Marty.
Howdy.
Dude, Jesse, what's going on? You sound absolutely awful, which is going to make for a great podcast listening experience.
I'm sipping hot tea right now as I prepared it moments before we turned on our
equipment. some celeb gossip.
Yeah, it's because that cures all my ailments is when I really dive into that. It's all
cures
about
mine.
Yeah, bravo TV stars. No, I've been very ill. I hosted a Super Bowl party and had quite a number of people at my house. I guess that was about a week or so ago yesterday from the time we're recording. And quite a few people who attended have gotten very, very ill, and it struck me as well. And here I am, but I'm powering.
So you hosted a super spreader event in Virginia Beach.
A Super Bowl spreader event, I think is what we'll call it. I wasn't aware. I feel like we're over, people taking COVID and flu tests and having to, I don't think anyone knew that they were ill. I don't think anyone was being reckless. I think we're all in a confined space and we know how germs work. And
if I know anything about a Jesse Carey party, you are very liberal with your double dipping policy.
I'll say this: we didn't even give people individual serving bowls. We just had we used the popcorn bucket just for salsa, and people were just scooping. We just put it right in the middle of the party. And
like one of those pig trops that just has all the food in it, nachos.
That's right. We ate out of a trop. No, that's actually not true. I only know that because I spent quite a bit of time, me and Dana, the night before folding. We ordered off the Amazon. They look like little footballs, but you have to fold them in cardboard so everybody could have little disposable cardboard football bowls. And I spent about an hour while watching like bobsledding, putting those together. So I know that wasn't it. I do know the bacon wrapped scallops somebody brought had toothpicks in them, but I don't, if someone was barehanded them, it could have been. I don't know.
But out back, what about the kissing booth? That was probably it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was if you wanted to enter, you had to participate.
Yeah, do you know who it was? Do you know who possibly was the person who?
Yeah, you got to find someone to blame.
I don't know. Patient zero. No one knows patient zero. It doesn't matter. All I know is
someone knows patient zero.
No, I don't know. I mean, honestly, no one at the party. It could have been me for all I know. You know what I mean?
So maybe nobody was sick, and it was just the mutation of all of your combined germs turned into a supercell of germs.
Yeah, everybody that was everyone there was moderately healthy, and the confluence of all of that breath in a confined space with pigs in a blanket and buffalo sliders somehow manufactured into a strange mutation that has caused people to get the flu.
It could have been when you guys were dancing at the Turning Point when Kid Rock was performing. Maybe you guys were dancing.
Yeah. I mean, people were very excited when Kid Rock came on, and there was a lot of shouting,
a lot of hooting and hollering.
There was hooting, there was hollering, there was impromptu, requests at the screen for Kid Rock.
You know what it probably was is that you had no cups and you made everybody drink out of the ice flume, the ice luge, and they just had to put their mouth underneath it. That was probably where it started.
Yeah, it was probably big Drake May ice flume.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was wild, guys.
You should have had
no
cups.
Party like a Jesse Carey party.
Yeah. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. You should have cups, man. Nobody wants to drink out of the ice flume. I mean,
we just had dog bowls. It was like. It was like the Bible story of where they knew which one was warriors. Yeah.
And then you kicked everybody out who didn't lap it up correctly because they were spreading the germs.
Yeah, they were Patriots fans too, all of them. So I banished them.
There's a pattern there.
Yeah.
I do like that we're gonna have ASMR throughout the whole episode now, though, with your little sips of tea.
Mm-hmm. I could fake spoons.
I feel like it's
served.
Get Out. I feel like when you start doing that, I'm like, get out.
I haven't had tea in a long time, guys. I'm not a big tea guy, but I've had quite a bit this weekend.
We have a great show coming up, and if you want some more tea, up next, it's Irrelevant Buzz. Stay tuned. Look at that transition.
Good segue.
That was pretty
Like an
nice.
old
I gotta say,
pro.
that was pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Okay, before I was so excited about my transition, I didn't actually tell you what was going to up on the show, so I'm going to go ahead and say it now before we get into Relevant Buzz. Coming up later, we have the Lone Bellow, one of my favorite indie folk, they call it Brooklyn country. I don't know if they still call themselves that, but you'll love them. They're coming up. We have Ask the Cast at the end of the show. We have Slices coming up. But right now, Emily, tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week.
Okay, normally I kick things off with some entertainment stuff, but I actually want to take some time to talk about what's happening at a Christian college in Florida. So Southeastern University, y'all have heard of that, right?
Yeah, it's 45 minutes from my house, and my parents met there. So, and my
very
uncle,
nice.
Look at
my
that.
uncle was a dean or professor there for so long. His name is on a building, the education
Oh,
building.
So you really know the
We
university.
have ties to
ties.
Southeastern.
You could
Yeah,
you could
we
have
go-
just said I'm familiar, but
Yeah.
thank you for the.
Wait, why
your-
did you
your
not go
family
there?
name's
Why did you go all the way to
literally inscribed
Oklahoma?
on a building? Yeah.
I didn't go there because when I was going to college, it was just a little dinky Bible college, AG Bible College, and I went to D1 4-year liberal arts university.
It's much different.
And my parents wanted me to go there, so out of spite, I didn't go there. So
Yeah, it was a spite decision. It's a Mocha Joe situation.
it was a Mocha Joe. I went to a
You Mocha
different
Joe'd
Christian
'em.
college out of spite. I Mocha Joe'd 'em. I Mocha
Oral
Go'd my higher
Roberts.
education. Take that.
Okay, so SEU has obviously changed a lot since then, and they have an annual conference that happens every year. This year's has been much different than the past. At the time of this recording, they are on day 5 of ongoing worship and prayer and repentance. And it all started on Wednesday with Jenny Allen's session when she spoke. So at the end of her message, she invited students to have a time of confession out loud, not just, quietly praying to someone next to you or anything like that. And so for the next 15 minutes, students started shouting as loud as they could, confessing their sins. So things like pornography, masturbation, anger, bitterness, even things like abortion, just very publicly confessing what's going on. And that was just the beginning of it. I got to speak to campus pastor Jonathan Rivera about what's going on, and I want you to hear him describe what's happened since that initial moment.
Something like broke in the room immediately, and there was like a shift, and the only way we can describe it is that was the moment where we felt like we entered into a new normal. Like, we're a charismatic Pentecostal university. Like, we're used to lingering. We're used to powerful altar ministry. We're used to operating in gifts. Like, that stuff's normal to us. But this just felt different. It felt like the lid just came off, whatever the lid was. And something shifted. And so then there's this extended worship that's happening. Something's obviously, people are running to altars. People are weeping at the altar. Worship is, it feels like the roof is going to fall off. And we're like, what are we supposed to do with this? Because it felt like a sin to stop it. And so we're like, okay, well, we've got like breakout sessions and stuff like any conference. Let's just push it back.
And so from there, they pushed conference sessions back and then eventually canceled them, eventually canceled classes. It has continued, like I said, for 5 days. Students are praying, they are worshiping, they are dancing, singing, all of these amazing
It's like going
things.
overnight too. I mean, it's insane, the clips and stuff. It's like a 24/7 student-led moment. And they're
cool.
live streaming it, and the people are like, "Why are you live streaming Revival?" They were live streaming the student conference because
Yes.
the SEU student conference was at a local church. It could see like 2,300 people,
Yeah.
but they have like 7,000 students. So
Yeah.
they were
Mhm.
live streaming the conference for the whole university, and then it just kept going. So you can actually tune in right
Oh,
now
that's cool.
and watch it on the live stream. We have the link at relevantmagazine.com. But
Mhm.
it's really remarkable. Jesse, you and I have been through charismatic revival things, outpourings. I don't know what the correct term is, depending on what denomination you come from. Is it revival? Is it just a spiritual moment? Is it an outpouring? Whatever. But what feels so great about it to me is that it's very much student led. It's very repentance driven, confession driven, Bible study driven. Yes, the clips are of the worship moments where people are dancing and things like that. And so I see in the comments, people are like, oh, they're just a bunch of young people who are excited. It's zeal. it's substantive. And then naysayers, I would love y'all's thoughts on this in the comments after we post this. Real revival is about justice. Real revival is about this, that, whatever. And I'm just going, as a person who's been in these services, my life was changed in moments where I encountered God like this, specifically in college and high school. And I encountered God and left changed.
Yeah.
And yes, the fruit of my life and my walk after that was that revival happened in my heart and in my life, and change happened. And it's like, well, because they're not feeding the poor, let the kids be in God's presence for a few days. You know what I mean? Like we should be excited about this. We should be applauding this and praying for this to be happening all over the country. It's an amazing thing to see, and it feels organic and it feels good. And I love it, and I love that we get to talk about it.
Way better than the Todd Bentley one that was also in the same area.
Stop it.
Are we not?
Hey, Todd Bentley came after Rodney Howard-Browne, and you can say what you want about Rodney Howard-Browne, but when I was in high school, those revival services changed my life for real.
No, 100%. Okay, my question actually is this: is as outside of Relevant Magazine, which I get a lot of my information from, and I'm not just plugging that. I'm not plugging. I'm dead serious. How do you find out about this? Like, how are people? Like, I don't know. I mean, I have my sister, a bunch of family members used to go to Southeastern, but how do you even hear about this? Like, how did you guys hear about this?
I mean, we follow because we have to report on what God's doing in our generation.
But like, where is it really? Because I mean, I don't see it online. I mean, I don't see it anywhere. I mean, obviously, I don't. My algorithm.
I saw like Instagram clips.
From so it started from us students. Yeah, students posting, "Look what God's doing! Look what God's doing!" And it was the day that it was breaking out. It was like we were seeing it a few hours after it started. And then it went overnight. This would have been overnight Wednesday into Thursday. And Thursday is when Emily talked to the campus pastor to say, hey, this seems like it's unique. Cool. What's going on? And I think we published it Thursday afternoon. It had been going about 24 hours at that point. Yeah. But as of us recording on Monday, February 16th, this is now 5 days later. It's still going 24/7. Wow. Yeah. So
they had a Kansas musical guest, a Forrest Frank, and a revival is what it is.
They brought in. I also heard about it from, and it just broke out. No, I'm sorry. Sorry.
I was like, I'd heard about it from some of the speakers who were there too. I mean, Jenny Allen, she posted about it a little bit, but there's another pastor who was there to speak, and I don't think he actually got. I think his session was canceled, so he was just no longer watching students like lead.
That was my
and
other
stuff.
question. Yeah, that's amazing though. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I think to your point earlier, Cameron, whether it's like, you know, some sort of spiritual outbreak happens, whether it kind of manifests through like a worship service and like charismatic circumstances, if it is some sort of like community, you know, coming together to serve, whatever it looks like, you know, I think there's something about like the idea of like earnestness that God and the Holy Spirit respond to, you know, of people.
Hunger.
And like when you think about the story of like the widow's mite or whatever, like a lot of people think that story is about like, you know, and I guess on the text is about like money and generosity, but I think it's also, I think the subtext is more about, look, I just want to give whatever I can to be able to, you know, be in the presence of God. And I think, you know, for different people that looks different ways, but I think you know, good things happen when people honestly and earnestly seek with hunger, you know. You know, I think that's where we see a lot of spiritual response, you know.
And too, a lot of these people are saying like, oh, it's just emotion led, it's not substantive. You'll know the fruit in time. I mean, that's my thing. You can't prejudge this, that it's not true revival. You don't know what God's doing in their hearts. So maybe we should still just back in the off chapel, a little bit. Thank you. They haven't left yet. You know,
we haven't seen anything. Yeah, we haven't seen the results yet. Yeah.
And to me, like I know in my own life that when I encounter God in a powerful way and he speaks vision or he speak, you know, healing or whatever it was in my life, like I walked out of there different. And if I, without that encounter, if I had just said, well, true revival looks like here's a checklist, and I just did those checklist things without encountering God first, it was works and it was dead and it was fleeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, revival starts with an encounter with God. And that's what we're seeing happening. And we're seeing it happening at campuses all over the country. Obviously, most notably, the last time a multi-day one broke out was at Asbury in 2023. We see it individual, like, salvation and baptism, crusades happening at colleges as well. But this multi-day thing, this hunger. Another person I saw, I played in the comments for a while. There's a lot of naysayers. Another person said, "Isn't that a Christian university?" And I'm like,
that's where they need
having
revival
gone
first.
to a Christian university, that has nothing to do. Like, there's no we're ahead. No, we need it more than most secular schools. Because you grow up. A lot of these kids grow up in the church, and they know how to be performative, and they know how to be insincere in their faith, and they know how to act the role. And they live a different way a lot of times. And so to me, for the confession to be the thing and a spirit of repentance to break out, and like that, to me, I mean, if you're at a Christian school, it is all about I'm holier than thou and I'm a good
so
Christian
freedom
and
is
you're not. So the freedom of confession, I mean, that breaks down so many walls in that kind of an environment. And that's just awesome to see. It's just awesome to see. And if you're cynical about it, check your heart, man. It's just like,
Cameron, I got to be honest too. Cameron, I want you to receive this.
You were in the comments, weren't you?
You got to stay out of those comments, man. Like, it's I'm telling you, man. Like,
fighting for your life.
Yeah,
outwitting bots.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it because I'm in the creative space too, and I want to know what people think. But generally, people only comment. No, it's very rare. Like, there's a like button. Like, if people like something, they can just click a button, right? And so, but if people have a grievance with something, they type it out, right? So you don't get a lot of just like, hey, I really like this. I either the metric to show you that is that they engage with it, or they click like, or
share it.
It's the comments are filtered in a way that I know you get it too, but I know the path of.
Listen, I have boundaries. I do want to be aware of how people respond to certain content.
Yeah.
I also want to make sure that if somebody is hateful or bigoted or crossing a line, we can address it, i.e. mute them.
Yeah.
The best function IG has ever created is the mute button instead of block. Because if you block them, they wear that as a badge of honor. Like, we got blocked. Don't block them. You mute them, and they have no clue that they've been muted, and nobody sees their comments, and they're just screaming, and they think they're owning us, and it's hilarious because nobody's seeing it, and it's the best thing ever. Anyway, to your point though, like I posted an op-ed about a video I saw about George Bush last Friday or Thursday or something like that, and we don't cover political things very often. We don't get into politics, but I thought this was a warning. It was constructive. It was from a conservative. It was just interesting.
Yeah.
And looking at an old message through the lens of current events was just informative. And that was it. And I just posed it as, well, again, it's my own words on this thing. It's an op-ed. I don't do that very often. I don't put my name out there. I checked the comments, and it was like 50 comments or so. And it was like 3/4. Oh, wow, that was surprisingly good and interesting and unexpected, blah, blah, blah. And 1/4, just, mean people, right? And I, as me, responded to some of the assumptions or accusations, handful of them, 58 comments.
Whoa.
Okay, I've addressed them. It's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't read them ever again. And now there's like 1,300 comments. I have no clue what's happening.
Listen.
I read 50 and I moved on. I responded to a handful and I'm, whatever.
You can do what I do, which is I set up numerous burner accounts. And,
I was about to say
Kevin Durant,
and it has never backfired. It's never backfired for anyone, even if you're a professional athlete. Never once has that not worked.
Y'all, over at NBA All-Star Weekend happened this weekend, and NBA Twitter is all aflame because Kevin Durant, big megastar, has been known to troll people and respond to mean fans. I mean, he just does, as Kevin Durant. And anyway, he was at the All-Star game, and the camera would pan over to him during timeouts and stuff, and he'd be on the bench, like literally on his phone. And people were connecting the dots. He has these burner accounts where they've been pulling up the tweets. He's been roasting his teammates, not in a mean way. He's been talking about his coaches being terrible, how Kevin Durant's not getting the ball when he should, as fans. Dude, it's insane. So he's been exposed that for all these burner accounts, and people are reading these tweets that's Kevin Durant. He got all happening during All-Star Weekend.
What are the names like? What are the usernames like?
I don't even know. Jesse, did you catch any of them?
No,
Like it would be funny if it was like like
This
just
all
some
happened last
random,
night.
fan.
like
Literally
Star
last
Wars
night.
fan 88 or something
Yeah.
like that.
No, it
you
is.
know,
It's
like,
supposed to be like normal people that are just basketball
That's why I
fans.
was like, I wonder how creative he got in that process for the usernames.
But he's like trashing his current teammates and stuff.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
wow.
He needs to get a diary and just write some of those thoughts to himself.
A little burn
all
book.
Fan 88 says, I need a raise. You know,
But,
like he just
people
throwing it
were-
out there.
People on NBA Twitter was like, "This is the biggest scandal. Like, I can't believe it. His career's
Really?
over." And I had the opposite thought. I was like, "This is the most unsurprising scandal I've ever."
Yeah,
I've
not
ever
surprising.
heard.
Yeah.
You think
This could
his
spin off into
teammates?
something.
Yeah, you think his teammates or coaches don't realize he's got beef with them? Like, he's Kevin Durant. He's never been on one team where things went well. Like, it's fine. This is not a big deal.
Also, you talk to Kevin during the game. He will talk back to you. So in practice, he's talking smack to his teammates. He's mouthing off at his coach. Nothing. He didn't tweet anything that he probably hasn't said to their face. So anyway.
I also don't know. I don't know much about him, but like I'm assuming he's a good enough player that like he can kind of get away with this.
top,
Like
top
they're
50
not gonna
all time. Like
okay, so like they're not gonna get rid of him just because he had some mean tweets.
No.
Yeah.
he's
But
above a mean tweet scandal.
Yeah.
If you ever see a player arguing with a fan and like someone's video and it's like courtside, it's usually him. He's usually the guy
Kevin's.
who is like arguing, and then he'll come back to you to continue the argument after like swishing it and then like coming. It's just, like,
100%.
the oddest thing.
There are a
But,
handful of players
there
that
are
I
recent
can
ones
crack.
like that.
He is absolutely a player I can crack during a game, and then just
Yeah.
get in his head, and he's just.
But
It's
people
great.
have to understand the avatar. The only avatar I've ever known for him to have on all social media is that meme from like a Disney movie where somebody, like the prince says
That's
something.
true.
There's like 50 swords pointed at their neck, and
Yeah,
they just have a
because, like,
smirk
yeah.
on his
Yeah.
face. That's been Kevin
Tangled.
Durant's. That's been his avatar since I can remember him being online. I don't
Since
think
the
he
movie
cares.
came out, he saw the movie and instantly
He
changed
created
it.
the meme. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Anyway,
Hilarious.
All right, getting us back
revival
on
to
track.
Kevin Durant is
Yeah.
not one on the bingo. One on the
Sabrina
rundown.
Carpenter lover 97 says Kevin Durant needs more.
More touches in the paint. Yeah.
Okay, getting us back on track. Back to some more entertainment stuff. You guys may have seen the news headline going around this week that Christian hip hop is the #1 subgenre of rap and hip hop on Spotify. I'm not gonna look at Marty when I say this because that's actually not true. I hate to break it to you.
I didn't even know. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Okay, this was going around, and we cover everything. So Christian hip hop world, all these little Christian hip hop fan accounts were posting this news that data came out. They did an analysis of Spotify listening data, and Christian hip hop was the a top 20 subgenre of all subgenres on Spotify. It was like, so you go like indie soul or whatever. Christian hip hop, they're saying, was like number 19 most listened to genre on Spotify. And we're like, that feels impossible because we see the listenership numbers of these artists that we cover. That doesn't make any sense. Emily, tell us what you found in your investigation of this.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Yes. So I looked into like how did they compile this data at all, and all they did was looked at metadata to determine really how many artists were in a subgenre. So in Christian hip hop, there are supposedly 10,835 Christian hip hop artists.
Okay,
Wow.
according to this report,
Yeah.
10,800 artists are Christian hip hop, and we're going, that's absolutely insane. There are maybe 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Emily, how did they come to the conclusion that there were 10,000 Christian hip hop artists?
So what's happening is this metadata is tracking pretty much any instance of like a Christian reference in a song and saying,
It's like
That-
Kanye West.
yeah, so Chance the Rapper,
so
Kanye West.
And yeah.
Any rapper saying God
Mhm.
Yeah.
is
Oh,
now considered
yeah.
Christian
Christian
hip hop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
Travis Scott, everybody's saying God. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So apparently every hip hop
Or
artist
God
is
got
a
me,
Christian.
or
There's literally
and
a song Kanye
DJ
West has.
Khaled. DJ
It's called
Khaled
I
is
Am
the biggest
God.
Christian hip hop
Yeah.
artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I am a
Yeah.
God featuring God. Like, that's Kanye
Yeah.
West on
Yeah.
Jesus.
So there are not 10,800 Christian hip hop artists. It is not the number 19 most listened to genre on Spotify.
Wow.
And before you repost or spread something as true because you saw it on an Instagram post, maybe look at the information. Just this is a collective teaching moment for everybody.
I've been spreading it on all of my burners.
Yes.
Kevin
Kevin
Durant
Durant
is
is
You've
like,
been spreading a lot of things this
And I-
week, Jesse.
and
Let's
I-
maybe
yeah,
tap the brakes
yeah.
on that.
Guilty. apparently.
Okay, moving on to the last item. I want to share a clip from American Idol, which kicked off this month again. I don't know if y'all remember last year. They got pretty Jesus-y, and it seems like that might be in store for this next season.
And ratings went through the roof. So let's bring back more Jesus. Let's go,
If it ain't
American
broke,
Idol.
don't fix it. So
let's go.
Yeah. So we got our first sort of viral moment. So this is Jordan McCullough from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He is a 27-year-old worship pastor, and he sang an incredible rendition of Goodness of God. With my life laid out, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me.
There you go.
Who are the judges?
Lionel Richie.
I know Lionel, but who are the other two?
Carrie Underwood and Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan's a country artist.
Yeah. I've seen Luke Bryan. I just feel like he looks different. Carrie Underwood.
I think he's got some work done.
Okay, yeah. It's almost like when you saw.
There's the tea that Jesse was. Yeah.
I'm sorry, his forehead did not move at all. So
it's like Tim McGraw, like on was Tim McGraw the one on like The Blind Side where he just like looked like really handsome versus another movie he was just in, and we're like, oh, what happened there? You know, his hair.
The other thing I appreciate about that clip is
like in the Blind Side, right? Is that the guy like he like looked young?
Yeah,
and
it
cool,
is Tim McGraw. Yeah,
and then in like Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn. He looked like, he just looked out of shape. He didn't look that great. Like he just was like, just beat down. And then you see him in Blindside looking super handsome.
I didn't realize same guy.
Yeah, I didn't either.
The other thing I appreciate about that clip is his accompanist, the person playing the piano, was a white piano. I feel like it's a bold move. I feel like when you see a white piano, I think that person's involved in organized crime. The only people buying white pianos are people who are doing something a little shady. Like, don't you think so? If you walked in somebody's house and in the foyer, it's a big white piano.
Yeah,
like,
any other color but black feels like, wow, what are we doing?
Yeah,
here?
what? Yeah, who's this? What is this? Is this person in the mafia? Are they, involved with, some illicit trade in like Miami Vice era? Like, what is happening there?
I just bought a white piano on Facebook Marketplace.
Of course you did.
I would be careful going to that. I would be careful going to that person's home to pick up that piano. That is one you're definitely walking into something. It could end up one of two ways. Either you're going to be, the victim of some sort of crime, or you're going to have the craziest story of all time to tell. Like you knock on the door and you look out back and the homeowner comes around back from a lagoon in a speedboat. Like, oh, you're here for the piano. Come on out back. That's how I picture white piano owners getting around.
I feel like Shaq would have had a white piano in his big mansion here.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm with you. All right. So
if you own a white piano, you also own probably an illegal pet, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably have a chimpanzee,
like weird,
maybe a velvet tracksuit. I'm kind of envisioning that as well.
There's a tiger in there.
There's a terrarium in play. There's a terrarium in play in that house.
There's something with stripes on it in the backyard. Let's just say it.
Stripes on it. Yeah. All right, that'll do it for Relevant Buzz. For those stories and a lot more, check out relevantmagazine.com every weekday. Thanks, Emily. All right, stay tuned. Up next, we actually have a short little new segment, Relevant Recommends. It's coming up. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tyndale and the Every Woman's Bible. Every woman brings her questions to the Bible, and Every Woman's Bible is packed with study notes, devotionals, and insights that address topics relevant to women with cultural, historical, and literary clarity and context to gain greater understanding. Over 100 scholars, writers, and contributors, all women from around the world, took part in the making of this Bible. This cherished study Bible is now available in the New Living Translation and King James Version. Discover God's heart for you through deep study and reflection with the Every Woman's Bible. Learn more at everywomansbible.com. Okay, it's time for a new segment we're going to try to bring you guys pretty regularly. It's called Relevant Recommends. We, so much amazing stuff is coming out, music, film, TV. From time to time, we want to spotlight those for you. And this week, we have the new album from the Lone Bellow. Before we get to Emily's conversation with lead singer Zach Williams, the Lone Bellow, I'm going to play a clip here in a second, is one of my favorite indie Christian adjacent bands. Zach was a worship leader 15 years ago, and they started this band, and it's like they initially called it like kind of Brooklyn country, and it's like American folk and indie, and it's really great. The harmonies are incredible. If you ever get the chance to see them live, please do it. Their album, their first big album that came out back in like 2013, is still one of my favorites of all time. They have a new album. It's called "What a Time to Be Alive," which is a very optimistic look at what's going on right now. Anyway, here's a single from the new album. It's called "Staring at the Sun." Check it out.
Looking at you, like looking into the sun. It's like staring directly into the sun.
I do want to tell you all a crazy story about this album. They had spent almost a year working on it, like writing, producing the songs, and they were on the road still mixing it when their van got broken into and all their stuff was stolen, including their recordings.
No.
So this album almost didn't happen, but their fans helped them out in like a really crazy way. And I want y'all to hear Zach tell that story.
We had a sound check that night, and I think that we were just like sad and frustrated, and we just asked our fans for like money. We asked them, I think, for 10 grand. We were like, hey, I think that we can buy our computers back and like get back in the studio and maybe try to fix this. And it was a 45-minute sound check, and when we were done, our fans had raised like 25 grand. So we were able to take that money and go and re-record all of the music that was stolen. So that's when this album really became like a collaborative effort, even with like the Lone Bellow fan base.
So that replaced the equipment, but what about the songs? Why didn't first of all, why didn't they save to the cloud?
Yes.
Zach?
You know, that is a really good question.
Every computer I have is completely backed up every single day, every moment. Backblaze, that's the company, and it every time. Well, I mean, I've been robbed too, so I get it. I was robbed, but in the Bay, and they robbed all my stuff as well, so I get it.
For real?
When did that happen?
Yeah, I was doing like an outreach in the Bay, and as I'm performing, it's an open park. I see across the street, it's like City Hall, and I see some guy just hit the back of my window, grab both of our suitcases out, and just leave. And
you saw it happen?
Yeah.
While you're on stage?
As I'm performing. Yeah, I'm like, hold on. And the security guards, I'm going to be dead honest. Security guards, they do not care. They were just like, there was like 6 of them together in a circle, just smoking. You see, it's like a chimney. And the 2 guys, it was literally 30 seconds. I saw they rip it out. And then one of my buddies was buying a wedding ring. It was a mess, like the money that we got lost. And so I understand, but that once burned, you learn forever, hopefully.
Yeah.
Awful.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Awful.
I think they have learned their lesson. But I was curious, since they pretty much were having to start over, like how much they changed on the album. And here's what he had to say.
One more anecdote to that story before we get to this next clip. It's interesting. They were able to replace all the gear with 5,000. The other 20,000, they bought the sweetest white piano you've ever seen.
I knew you were gonna, they bought a white piano and had enough money for a bird, an exotic bird.
Yeah, they came with a parrot. It came with a giant parrot.
He's on the side of the stage.
French.
So Brooklyn of them. That's a very Brooklyn thing to do.
It would be, actually.
A live bird just sitting there chilling. Its name is Garfield. I don't know why, but that's its name.
Garfield the bird.
Yeah. Sylvester.
Anyway, Italy.
A human
That
name.
is not, yeah, sadly that is not what happened. But I did want to know, when they did have to remake it, like how different it was from the original. And here's what he had to say.
We already knew what we had captured, so we had like a sonic goal that we were going at when we were re-recording the parts. And we were really worried that we weren't going to be able to like get that same natural just kind of energy that we had. And I think just like being so encouraged from asking for help and getting help, and then just like ferociously wanting to like save the music that was stolen, I think it just made it even more just exciting and hard and annoyed. And I think that all came out, and we pushed through and were able to make it happen.
All right. Well, go check it out. It's called "What a Time to Be Alive." It's the Lone Bellow. And if you like it, go back into their discography and check out the Lone Bellow, the self-titled debut. It's incredible. Holds
Relevant
up.
recommends.
Relevant recommends. Okay, stay tuned. Up next after this quick break, it's Slices. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
All right, you guys know me. I love a good challenge, especially one that pushes the limits of what people think the human mind and body are capable of. That's why I like this story. It comes from us at a local bar in upstate New York called Tom and Marty's Townhouse.
Nice.
There were no pictures of the bar except for in the background of the interview, and it appears to be very similar to Patty's in Always Sunny. It seems about that level of establishment. And
classy.
And the subject of the story, I got nothing but love for, but he would not be out of place working with the Sunny crew. You know, he's got the hoodie, kind of disheveled hair. Looks like the type of guy that would place the kind of bet that made him newsworthy. He was at his bar and he confidently bet that Scotty Scheffler would not win the American Express tournament. Larry said that if he did, he would eat Wendy's chili for every meal for 1 month, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, we don't know what the other, interestingly, there seems to be a big hole in this story. So if the Binghamton local news channel wants to update it, I'd appreciate it. I don't know what he stood to win. Like, we know what he stood to lose.
Wendy's chili.
Yeah. Like he
wins a month of chili.
Spoiler alert, Scotty Scheffler ended up winning. And now he's consuming the Wendy's chili. He's day 11 into it.
No, he ended up losing. So he has to eat the chili, right?
No, he bet that Scotty Scheffler would not win. Because
gotcha.
Yeah. And
he lost the bet.
Yeah, he lost the bet.
Yeah.
Scheffler came back, won the tournament, and now he's eating the chili. Here's a quote. I mean, Wendy's chili is pretty good. And surprisingly, I didn't know it at the time, but thankfully it's pretty healthy. You're wrong. You're wrong, Larry. It is terrible for you. I was at chili
There's
cook-off.
a massive grease residue on the cup that you had your chili in. Not healthy.
I was at a chili cook-off one year. And there was a prankster who brought in a crock pot filled with Wendy's chili. Okay.
I love that.
And so you go around and you sample the chilies and you fill out a scorecard. You guys know how chili cook-offs work. And so you're obligated to try them all. People put a lot of time in these chilies. I don't know that the Wendy's chili is a Wendy's chili. And I take a bite. No lie, I almost broke my tooth. There was something rock hard in there that I spit out. And I'm like, hey, guys. Number 8. I just want to let you know, I don't know whose it is. I don't know what the ingredient was, but there's something very hard in there. Like, oh, it's Wendy's. So I don't know what it was.
It was a tooth. It's somebody's tooth.
And I was really mad. I was like, dude, why did you even bring that here? Why are you subjecting us to this? We had a real chef come and do the final judge, you know? He was upset.
They want to see if he could pass.
Hey, man, late night study sessions at ORU, I'd go down to the Wendy's with some friends and we'd get a little cup of chili and a baked potato.
Listen, I don't want to get
winter.
I don't want to get sued by Wendy's, but I had a friend who worked at Wendy's at one point, and he told me never eat the chili. He goes, you know how we get the meat for it, right? And I was like, I don't.
Cheeseburgers, right?
Ground up hamburgers.
They said when you scrape the grill.
Oh no.
That's the meat that goes in the chili.
And that's the good. That's the grizzle. That's the good stuff.
That's what I was told. I don't know. Please don't sue me, Wendy's. That's what I was told.
Maybe that's what they did at their Wendy's.
Yeah.
They went rogue.
I've never even knew that they had chili. So,
it's great.
But this man's eating it breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
He's eating it for. It's the only.
He must have just
90 cups of chili. Like,
yeah. He's within a 24 to 48 hour window of diarrhea.
He's eating this exclusively, from what I understand. Like, I think he can have liquid, but I think the only thing he's consuming for these 30, I don't know if you ever recover from it. I don't know if your body.
This has to be worse than Super Size Me. Like when he
there's
McDonald's
no one like keeping up on him either, so he's just doing it like.
I mean, I
just
think
the
he's showing
honor system.
Well, I no, people are following. He's giving like updates online.
Okay,
good.
So I was like, is he just doing the honor system? And he's like, guys, I'm eating it. It's awful. Yeah. It's like you don't have to if you're lying. You don't have to.
But it just seems like
actually, it's not bad calorie wise. A large bowl is 320 calories. If he has 3 of those, that's 1,000 calories a day. He's gonna averages 2,000. He's gonna lose weight.
Wow.
Rapidly. So here's a little health tip, everybody. If you want to lose weight, 3 bowls of Wendy's chili a day.
Wendy's,
Ozempic, yeah.
Wendy's is all in, by the way. They got wind of this, and they're sending
High protein.
They
Yeah.
did.
Protein.
Wendy's is sending him merch and gift cards, and Wendy's is all in on this, which
Dude,
I got to be
I
honest,
love
it
that.
seems like it would subject them to some manner of liability if this guy like contracts diabetes day 15, you know?
He breaks his tooth on the
It's
chili.
also funny because like he's doing that because he lost the bet.
yeah.
Dude,
So it's like
it's
this
22
was-
grams of protein. It's 320
The
calories.
gains are there. The gains
This
are
is-
there.
What are you talking about?
Cameron,
diabetes?
you probably eat Wendy's chili like once a week and you're trying to justify it right now. That's what you're
I
doing.
haven't had it since college, but
It's probably but he probably throws cheese on it and tons of cracker. Like, right? Doesn't it come with that? It should come with sour cream.
I don't know. His
Literally,
fix.
it says this is the Google the chili. The chili at Wendy's is a high protein, relatively low calorie option. I mean, this is health food.
I kind of feel like he knew what he was doing. Maybe this is all just a setup for him to just be
He
like,
wanted,
I really
he
like
wanted to get
chili.
in his summer bod.
I love
he
the
wanted to lose
chili.
a
I
little
want
weight.
it. I'm sick of being embarrassed and shamed. I want the
I
chili.
have to eat the
Regardless,
chili.
Imagine
I got
like
to
waking
eat
up every
chili.
day and being like, great, I get to eat a bowl of chili all day
Cough,
long.
But you're saying
chili,
this is like
yeah.
a poor man's paleo
Listen,
diet.
it's upstate New York. It's 8 degrees outside. A warm bowl of chili to start your
Probably
day.
hitting,
What's
yeah.
better? I mean,
Slapping.
come on.
I think there's a lot of things that are better.
He's getting gains in.
He's losing weight. He's getting high protein.
This is a
He's-
dream.
His stomach is
getting
filled.
fruit
we need
merch,
it. We need
warm.
we need an update from Larry.
Yes.
I want to make sure he's still, in reasonably good health at the end of this.
Okay.
High spirits.
What do you
yeah.
have, Marty?
Hey guys, I got a really quick article. So let me just drop this claim and we'll get into it. A study has shown, this is on the relevant website as well, but a recent Oxford-led study showed that AI chatbots often perform very poorly when giving real people symptoms and to decide what to do next. So people who are asking, I have these symptoms, what do I have? For the most part, they're getting incorrect information. And I
for the
think
health,
that,
so, yeah.
yes, and I think that this also goes to a larger conversation. Do we all know already that AI is not thinking? It's a research tool. I feel like we are assuming that AI is thinking. But the funny part about this article is that the Google performance did just as well. That's number one. And also, 1 in 6 American adults are asking ChatGPT for medical advice, but they're not giving accurate scenarios. They're not giving full information. So one of the issues is that ChatGPT is trying to diagnose on limited information.
You're not. Whereas a doctor would say, "I need to check. I need this information to be able to diagnose you."
Cough twice.
You don't know that when you're talking to ChatGPT and you're not giving it all the information to get it right diagnosed.
You know what's interesting? I was actually listening to an interview about this morning, and one of the challenges is personal medical information there are encryption standards that are required, right? Like they have to, what they call, moat the data. That data has to live in an island that can't be stolen. Like it's a very big deal of how you store personal medical data. But that data is critical to being able to perform an accurate diagnosis. And so that's why, some of these AI platforms are not allowing medical advice, because it's missing that critical piece. But that critical piece isn't as simple as it seems. You can't just start, you know what I mean? Like it can open up AI companies to liability if they don't properly store personal medical data because of, standard, like legal standards. It's a real issue for it.
And that's why I even go back to, we know that AI is not thinking, it's a research tool. So, if you were to give ChatGPT a test, it's going to ace a medical test, but it's not going to give you the correct diagnosis. What's interesting about this is I lived in a hospital 2 years ago for about 2.5 months with my son who was in the NICU. And I do remember the doctor going on ChatGPT to confirm something to me because I asked a really odd question. And she was like, let me just check ChatGPT. And I'm like, you're a doctor. But I guess, don't go to ChatGPT for your medical advice.
Yeah.
It's just not going to help you out.
I feel like a doctor using it for medical advice is a little different than me having
She was
knowledge
trying
whatsoever.
to confirm. But I was like, you're trying to confirm, like, how that's kind of okay.
Can you
Doctor.
eat chili Wendy's chili every day.
Can you
for
give
30
your infant baby chilies from Wendy's?
Okay,
for
Larry
breakfast?
Shea, the update is he's now 23 days into his 31 days, and he describes the experience as, quote, actually pretty demanding. So that's
you
it.
don't say.
That's
Wait, hold
it.
on. He's not like pre-buying it and then like cooking it. He's going every single time to the drive-thru.
I don't know. He just talks about that the physical toll is actually pretty demanding.
He's
So-
in a medically induced coma.
How much
Yeah.
is chili at Wendy's? Like how much
Probably
is
cheap, right?
I don't know. I haven't bought it since I was in college. So
We
I
keep
don't-
asking you, Cameron, like you're the
I literally
You're the
don't
Wendy's
know.
Cameron, how much
spokesperson.
is it? Do they have cheese and fixins? I like how we totally just disregarded the AI
is a-
health thing and just went right back to Larry. We're just
Wendy's
all really
chili.
excited
We're all
about
really
this Larry
concerned about
guy.
him.
Okay, a large bowl is $4.99.
That's
So,
incredible, and I need to get updates throughout the next couple episodes to know on
Mhm.
relevant
Jesse,
podcasts.
Jesse,
what's
they
happening.
also have a family size bowl for $13.49 that serves 4 to 6 people.
He should buy that
So,
and then
dole it
pre-plan
out
his
throughout the
meals.
day.
That's
Yeah,
what we
that's
served at my
good.
Super Bowl party. We just put a couple of those out with a bunch of spoons. We just gave everybody spoons.
Everyone got sick from Wendy's. Yeah.
There you go. All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, we have a real quick Ask the Cast. It's time for
Ask the cast anything you want, and we'll use our brains to answer.
All right, we hit you guys up on the Relevant Podcast Instagram and asked you for some Ask the Cast questions in our story there. Check our stories if you see it pop up. Mike Johnson, 47, wrote in. He said, what's something you bought because of a TikTok ad that you're genuinely embarrassed about? I bought way too many things from TikTok. I bought this hat on the TikTok ad.
What does that hat say, by the way?
Hondo, it's a brand.
Oh,
Yeah.
Honda. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not embarrassed of any of it. I bought way too many hats.
I bought something to put your phone right here. And it's like it goes around your neck, and it's like you just
Oh.
put
Okay.
your-
Is
put
that
your
for
phone
when
right
you go to
here.
protests and stuff? So,
So
you can
when
like,
I'm
film?
rapping, I'm like doing this and write it like it just everything producing while looking at lyrics and talk. It's just perfect combo. But
Yeah.
it's I look ridiculous, and my wife threw it away.
So my dad has that, and he will lay in bed and watch like TikTok video or
Yes,
whatever.
Like you could
while
be in
it
a
holds
plane
up.
class,
Yeah.
but it's like a piece of metal, so it's
Yeah.
like it's
I've-
uncomfortable to hold. And it's
I feel like,
you can
Marty,
break
you're
down.
one
Oh,
step away
his like
from
goes around his
Homer
neck.
having.
There's like some foam on it, so it's comfortable.
No, mine does too, but it's not. It's just like one piece. Like you can't make it smaller. So like
Oh,
to
yeah.
travel with it would just
Guys.
be ridiculous. Like I just traveling with a piece of metal that looks
Guys.
insane. Like
I like it.
Yeah.
I
bought it.
I've
yeah.
never purchased anything off TikTok, not out of
$5.
principle. I just never buy anything. Not out of principle. It's a lot of effort. But
Putting
that
your
item,
details in.
that seems like a good item. I would like to own that.
Guys,
Maybe I should start buying more.
They sell it so good online. They sell it amazing.
But our
Give it in your
TikTok
hand.
our TikTok ads basically Sky Mall for the new generation.
that's
You know
what
what
I'm
I mean?
saying. At
Yeah.
2 a.m, it's like
Yeah.
Sky Mall is one click away from
Yeah.
your door 2 days
Yeah.
later. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, here we go. Emily, speaking of the bowls of chili, what's a food combination you love that everyone else thinks is disgusting? Emily, you have a bunch of them.
Okay. I don't know.
No,
if
you've
I'd say
said them on
that.
the show. You have weird snacks that you like. You
Pickles
like
and I'm sorry.
you do like mayonnaise on tortilla chips or something.
What?
Okay,
No.
no, I do ranch and tortilla chips. Let's get
That's
it
what it is.
factual here.
I knew it was white. Sorry.
That's actually that's probably my whitest and weirdest food taste. So
So, do you guys have any weird ones?
right now you have to beat tortilla chips and ranch. That's kind of the bar
That's like the
set.
standard.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Wow.
Wendy's chili in
Yeah.
like a
3
fat
times a
form.
day.
For breakfast, yeah.
We,
Yeah,
when
I don't-
people-
I'm pretty old school. I like classic everything. Like I'm just like vanilla ice cream,
yeah,
cheeseburger, nothing on the cheeseburger, just cheese in the burger. Like I'm a classic guy.
yeah.
Rachel in the Wild, that's her name. She said, what's something you've Googled recently that would be embarrassing if your search history went public?
Oh, I have a 1,000 of these right now. I want to just go to my search history right now and tell you.
I'm nervous.
I am curious about these 2 a.m. searches that you gues do.
I think my last one. I don't even know if it was. I don't know if I'd be embarrassed. But it was. It was. I was just curious, I don't know what sparked it. I was just curious about Vikings. Like, like
Are you watching a
historically.
Viking show? You
No,
were just thinking
I
about
haven't
it?
watched a Viking show. I haven't read anything about Vikings. I just woke up in the middle of the night being like, man, what was up with Vikings? Like, you know, I was kind of curious about what their whole deal was.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty sophisticated culture. Seafarers. I really knew not. You know, the swords were just for show. I went down. I just started reading Wikipedia articles and started click. I went down. I was like, oh, what is a berserker? Oh, you know, Leif Erikson. I don't really know. I know the name, but what's his deal? You know, pretty wild story there, guys. A lot of weird Viking stuff. I was just randomly reading about Vikings at 2 a.m.
I found a weird one, Jesse. I don't know why I even Googled this, but last week I Googled salmon at IHOP. I don't know why I Googled that. There must have been something there.
Yeah.
I would never eat that, but that's something I don't know why I Googled that. Salmon at IHOP.
Yeah.
AJ
Locations.
asks, if the podcast ended tomorrow, what would you miss that has nothing to do with the audience?
Oh, I mean, it's a great. I say excuse, but I mean, this is the generic one, but like we're all busy people, but this is a calendar time to catch up with your buds. You know,
I like it. Yeah.
agreed.
Jesse has a
Precious.
lot of stuff that he doesn't tell you guys when we open the show.
It's
And
pretty
usually
shocking.
Cameron has to be like, don't
We actually
say
spent
that,
3
say
hours
that.
recording.
Yeah.
Patrick asked, who's the worst at keeping a secret about upcoming content? All right, shut up. That's me. Jesse and Emily, what question have you asked a guest that you instantly regretted?
Emily,
Peter
you told
asked
me one
that.
recently when we were having it was after the Doves or something. You said you asked somebody hold on. I was thinking about the other day.
So what did I ask them? Jesse, do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, the one guest that I got really, really angry at me was I asked Hannibal Buress. Have I told this story?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love this story. Yeah, great one.
They told me not to ask him about it, but I felt my journalistic duty to ask him about it.
You're having too much fun.
Yeah, and we were having a great convo, and I was like, "Hey, man, you know, I know you got you probably have complicated thoughts about your bit about Cosby that led to, you know, kind of a whole social movement." And he just stopped talking and then demanded that I move on, and then just answered yes or no questions the rest of the interview, and that was it. So I did regret that.
He openly talks about how he doesn't like to talk. He feels like some type of way about like starting.
And
this
they
whole
told
thing.
me, but I felt a journalistic obligation to. Yeah, I felt like we were having a good convo, but they were correct when he said he did not want to talk about it.
They were correct.
That's so.
Emily,
I
do you
don't
have
know
one?
if I necessarily regret asking the question. I wish I'd asked it differently. When I talked with Channing Tatum a couple years ago for that movie Dog he did, which he had directed, one
Channing
of the questions,
Tatum. They sent Cohen a heart-shaped pillow of Channing Tatum and a dog's face on the pillow, and he still has it in his room. He's
That's so
a
good.
16-year-old
As he should.
teenager.
That's a
and
great
amazing.
gift.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I asked him was, what was the most difficult part about directing? Because it was the first time doing that. And the only thing he answered was how difficult it was to direct the dogs because the dogs were in heat the whole time they were recording. And so it was like, it wasn't quite what I was going for, that answer.
I have
Sure.
one other. I have one other, and I don't remember the name of the band. I remember the song. I guess it's not important because I'm not trying to call them out. It was like an indie pop band who had a really big song, right? That like broke out, and that was the first I'd heard of the band.
Kiss Me, Sixpence None the Richer.
I'll tell you guys off record who it was, but it like everyone knew the song, but everyone wasn't aware of the band mostly before that song. And I was interviewing them, and the song had been out for a while, and they were preparing to go back in the studio. I was like, so do you guys feel like pressure now that you got to have another song like that? And they said, everyone asked us that. Everyone. And they're like, no, we don't feel pressure. And it just like tanked the whole thing. I was like, well, obviously they seemed
never
like,
had another
I'll be
song
honest,
after
they
that.
seemed like they were under a lot of pressure. So
All consuming.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for those questions. There's more. We'll prompt you guys when we want you to send us more of them. Follow us on Instagram. All right. Many thanks for listening. And thanks to the Lone Bellow for talking to us. Make sure to check out their new album, What a Time to Be Alive. I like their optimistic take on the state of things. Anyway, make sure if you're watching on YouTube to hit like and comment and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening to the audio show, check it out on YouTube too. You can see our beautiful faces and watch the SEU footage and stuff. Oh, tune into the SEU live stream. See if it's still going. Let's see how long it'll keep going. It's pretty cool. I've tuned in several times over the weekend. It was great. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
I'm Marty.
We will see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody.